Well, hello. Thank you for taking the time out, Alejandra Sanchez. I do appreciate it. Yeah. So, do you want to give yourself like a dope intro? That's the one thing I forgot to do. Is like right out
A
of
dope
intro.
intro.
Yeah.
Um, like my elevator pitch.
Yeah, sure. You got
Uh,
that 20 seconds.
sure. So good afternoon. My name's Alejandra Sanchez. I'm an inner city studies human resource management major. I am currently the university relations coordinator, aka the handshake point person. And I am so excited to be here and be interviewed by Angel today.
Yeah. Well, Handshake is the reason, one of the reasons I wanted you on because the dean, you are technically College of Business Management, right?
I work for the College of Business Management, correct?
So the dean gave us all Handshake, which
Correct.
I thoroughly enjoy because right now I work in a COVID-19 testing lab, but
Okay.
but COVID's gonna go away soon, hopefully soon, right?
Hopefully. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, and I really want to get a really good job, and that's something. Handshake is something that the dean was pushing for us to use because employers are looking for recent college grads or
Mm-hmm.
college students, and he said that a lot of people use it. So,
Correct.
so that's how I see Handshake. How would you describe Handshake?
So the way I like to describe Handshake, it's the LinkedIn to students or for students specifically. For me, I feel like Handshake takes the extra pressure off of like the normal LinkedIn because I feel like LinkedIn it's one, it's sometimes it can get a little spammy. Two, there's so much talent out there that even from a like a recruiting aspect, it's so overwhelming and sometimes I feel like Handshake does really good at filtering that out for both the employee, the student, and also for us within the like career services. Um, we get to see like the qualifications, where our students are at, and where we should get them. So I feel like that's very kind of like a 3 point thing for everyone. That it's really helpful for Handshake to, they do have analytics, they do have different partners. So I think we do take advantage of that service a lot right now.
So, yeah, LinkedIn can get kind of spammy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get a new email like every day about something that has nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Then again, we only just got Handshake a couple months ago, right?
Correct. So Handshake, we pretty much we rolled it maybe late no rather late October, early November. So we've had a lot of back and forth, right? Because it was really hard for us to find jobs, right? Not me as a student as well. Like, where can I go to find jobs? And there are a lot of different sources to find jobs, right? We have LinkedIn, we have Glassdoor, we have all the traditional like um, known places where you can find jobs. However, I feel like Handshake is it's more safe for students in a way. One, it's their privacy. They take care more of their privacy, and as a student, they have more access to different people within Handshake. They have like 1 million people. Like for example, they have the big companies as well. So Google, Deloitte, um, Mutual, um, Geico, like there's a lot of different, and it's for all majors. And instead of you trying to look for a job, and it's kind of like the opposite, it's they're recruiting you for the job. So I think it takes the pressure off the student to look for jobs, right? Instead, you kind of filter of what kind of jobs you are looking for,
Hmm.
and it like automatically tells you like, hey, you'll be a good candidate for this position. You should apply. Um, and there's a lot of like really cool functions, like you can talk to someone who actually works for the company directly, rather than kind of going through different like funnels and different people. And also you get a feedback, so you can actually like ask a question like, hey, how did you like this, how did you like this internship or working there, and then they'll, you know, they'll write to you, hey, this was a wonderful experience, I recommend it. And then that's where you can also get references, right? And most of the times that's what you need, references from people that know you can do well and can put you on the top, right, of the recruiter's list, or the filters, or even the ATS systems, right? Because a lot of the formats don't match up with people's resumes and they're automatically kicked out. And we did, and I mean, I didn't know that until I started working for career services, that there's a lot of systems that don't really read a lot of resumes just because of the format, or just like little things that, you know, it'll be helpful to know that you're applying when you're applying.
What is ATS?
ATS is like the automatic system that that a lot of companies use. So when you, if you see like the URL and
Mhm.
it has like upload, anything that says like upload your resume, they use an automatic system that kind of scans through your resume,
Okay.
and it tells you if you're a good candidate or you're not.
And it tries to find those like
Yeah.
keywords, right?
Keywords, key functions, and then it kind of just matches up, like percentage. If you're like, I don't know if you've seen on LinkedIn, for example, if it has like, oh, you're 50% qualified for the job, or but you're missing, I don't know, management or data
Mhm.
skills, so stuff like that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Another thing that I just remembered um, is that when you are job hunting, you do have to juggle like 5 different websites, and they all like kind of repeat themselves. And another thing that bothers me, that drives me up a wall, is when companies say like, "Oh, we need entry level with like 6 years experience."
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, that's my biggest pain. I don't know about you, but it makes me go insane when I think about that.
Yeah, I'm like right on that same struggle, right? I have some experience, but I'm not going to tell you that I have 10 years of experience. And a lot of the jobs that we have seen in the past, and that Handshake is definitely getting better at, is being purposeful with the jobs, and being reasonable, like depending on the company, right? You're not going to pay $30,000 for someone who has 10 plus years of experience coming in, right, as an entry level job. Um, and then not a lot of people would even apply for something like that if they have 10 plus years of experience.
Yeah, I
So it
see a lot
really,
of the. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, it really just depends on the company. And a lot of the companies that Handshake does partner with are really good, and they have, you know, they have over 1,000 college partners as well. So we're not the only college. So we have seen other, for example, the one I kind of shadow in a way is DePaul. So DePaul has a good Handshake system that they filter out all the jobs even within their own university. So it is, all universities are not the same, obviously, but Handshake does do a really good job with like keeping up with different job postings, and you know, they have 500 like K employers, from startups to nonprofits, and through like the big companies.
Uh, you know what else I find interesting, or that I appreciate, is that they're not looking to fill a space immediately. Like some of those are 6 months in advance. They're putting it out there. I applied to be I'm a business accounting major,
Mhm.
so I applied for a tax intern for 2022. And you know, if I get it, great. If not, that's fine. But that's something else I kind of appreciate too. That it's not like, yo, we need somebody like next week. Somebody just left. Like somebody just
Yeah,
walked out.
right. A lot of people be like, well, I need people, you know, yesterday,
Yeah.
right? So that was something really good about Handshake too. Like I said, they're kind of like on top of their, you know, of their vacancies and with their partners, and say, and kind of the and communication as well. You know, if they see something up, they go ahead and make sure that, you know, one, it's legit, because that's one of the most important for us. You know, if we're if we're posting something up, we make sure that it's legit, and Handshake does verify. For from an admin side, we can see like how much feedback they have. Like if it's a good partner, it'll be like 195, 90%. If it's a bad partner, meaning like they're a little sketchy, they'll rate it. They'll have like 50%, and then they'll have like we don't really recommend, but it's up to you if you want to have your students apply. So little things like that do help, because there's so many companies, even the ones that are starting up, or like the private companies that are really good to work for, but you never get to hear from them. So I think Handshake does a really good job at also like marketing for them as well. Like, hey, this is a informational coming up, do you want to sign up?
Yeah,
So that's also cool.
yeah, I've seen those too. I get those emails and those notifications as well. Do you mind just explaining to me again? You rate the companies, like in what way?
So this is kind of like on the admin side for the career services side. Handshake allows us to see the different companies that we can, accept their postings from, and then from there they have a rate, like a trust rating. I think that's what it's called, the trust rating. If they don't, like for example McDonald's, right? Like who McDonald's is.
Yeah.
So McDonald's would be like a 90, 95%. And if they have worked with them in the past and they have good feedback, they'll put like, yes, like we recommend you partnering. But for like the companies that are rather starting up, or like they're not, they're private, or they're not as known, or they haven't done business with them like that, they do rate them lower, but then they do tell you like, hey, this is still like a company and you should check them out, depending on what they're looking for. And what Handshake does a really good job is it's not just like tech or education. It's a lot, right? It's like restaurants. It's although right now with COVID it's a little hard, right? Because most restaurants are closed. But they have telecom, they group them by industries. So I think that's very important too, because for example, I'm in HR and I could be within the industry of higher education, which I am right now, right? But I can also be in HR tech, right? So the industry kind of does matter. It doesn't matter if you're a business student. You could work for a school, you can work for a restaurant, you can work for wherever. So I think they do a good job at differentiating the jobs and like the qualities and like what you need to work there.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to know and
Yes,
think
it is.
about and go through.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, yeah, I run this company out of my garage and I need 3 interns. Come on.
And I mean, in the past, I feel like that's how all companies start, right? And even us, we do have the big center for entrepreneurs, so we are trying to build that back up. But yeah, that could be part 2 or something.
Talk about the big center.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have you ever had an internship or a job that you were just like, I can't do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of my life's yes. I'm gonna say yes. Just because one, I guess I started really early. So I started working maybe 15, 14 years old in the food and beverage industry. And I always thought, oh my God, this is gonna be my life forever. And I want to be a manager and I want to go up, and just
Mm-hmm.
as you get older, I feel like because you're not exposed to it. So it wasn't until I started working in higher education, I was like, wow, I really enjoy talking to students. I really enjoy helping them out. Um, just that vibe, right? It's a lot different than being like cooped up somewhere or serving tables, or it's just a different atmosphere. So I think it's when you have the atmosphere that you enjoy, I think that's when you just naturally enjoy your job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you walk into work and you're like, damn, I'm kind of happy today.
Right. Without having to like drag yourself out
I
of a
know.
bed.
Or you're on like your third cup of coffee and it's like 2 p.m.
Exactly.
The only problem is waiting tables is there's like a stigma. but the money is really good a lot of times.
Um, I've been in the food and beverage industry for maybe 10 plus years, and I'm not gonna lie, it was really good, especially if you're like in catering.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always that there's a lot of injustices that do happen in
Oh,
the food and beverage industry, right? People get exploited, people get, people don't get paid what they're supposed to be paid. Um, so it really depends on the company that you're working for, because I've seen that, firsthand as well, and it's not a really good atmosphere to be at. It just really depends on the company. So I think Handshake does a really good job at giving feedback, even from a student perspective, like, hey, I really did enjoy my experience here, or like, hey, you should probably look for other options, right? So yeah,
like,
that's
hey,
cool
by the
too.
way, don't talk to those guys over there.
Right.
That's funny. Um, oh, but the reason I asked is because, well, about the internship is
Hmm.
that my girlfriend found an internship for a clothing company, very small. They needed an intern, and um, I forgot where it was. It wasn't Handshake, let me tell you. And she was working. No, no, no. The internship was supposedly 10 hours a week, and my girl ended up working closer to like 45 hours per week,
Yeah.
unpaid, and she pretty much ran the entire company while the owner was kind of like, what's the nice
Sitting
way
back.
to put it? Sitting back, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
that's
that
something that,
that's common. Hmm.
yeah, and that's something that, thank God I've never gone through. Like my one internship that I got through the school, I worked for a community center, and um, well, I worked for Gads Hill Center in Pilsen. I don't know if you've
Oh,
heard.
awesome. Okay, there's actually one in Brighton Park as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
They just
yeah.
opened one.
Yeah, and I worked for someone over there, and she was the nicest person you can ever ask for. Like the school really did well with that one. So yeah, so there's bad internships and there's some pretty good ones. Hopefully people you find the really good ones, right?
And even if you do find a bad one, I feel like it's just a learning experience as well. Like, I feel like you meet the people you're supposed to meet, right? And you don't really appreciate a good internship
Yeah.
if you haven't had a bad one, right? So you kind of have to play a little bit of both sides sometimes.
Yeah. I feel that. I remember when I worked in the restaurant, I also worked in a club that was also a part
Mhm.
of the building. So some weeks I really was doing like 60 hours a week, and the money was great, but the amount of stress and the amount of coffee and not being able to see my girl and being cranky, like it didn't really balance out. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really does depend on even the type of person you're, right? Because I was always a morning person, ever since it's high school. So when I was attending community college, I actually did a little bit of both. So I did catering and also did working in hotels, right? And that's where the money's at, hotels.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, so I would have to go back and forth, and sometimes I would even sleep in the hotel because I would have to be up, at 6 o'clock in the morning, for a catering event, for a wedding, or cocktails and everything like that. And it was really good money, but like, you not just drain yourself, but I feel like physically you're just done,
Yeah.
because I was going back to back, and people were like, man, you look a little rough. Like, yeah, you gotta hustle sometimes through 2 3 jobs. Like, that's what you gotta do at some point in your life. um but yeah, if you're not a morning person, like, don't go ahead and be like, let me get this job at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll see about that.
Or take a 7
So,
or an 8 a.m. class.
or yes,
Those
an
are
8 a.m. class.
those are tough. Knowing like it's not high school, like you don't really have to show up. That's a
But
struggle.
you're paying for that, so that's on you. Right.
Yeah. Did you ever wake up and be like, damn, my body hurts from working so much?
Yes. Luckily for me, um I I had older people that be like, hey, you gotta, you know, take a bath, and they call it in Spanish like una friega de alcohol, like just put some alcohol in your body, sweat it out, and you're good. Put some, yeah, you know, it was very like you can do it, and I think mentally that like, oh, you know, your body stops hurting once you don't think about it. And I feel like that's very weird, because after it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna feel it tomorrow. And I feel like after that, it just didn't hurt anymore, because I knew it was gonna hurt, right? So it was kind of like that psychological thing. So that's kind of funny that you say that.
Thing where it's like, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter or something.
Yeah, until like you fall, right, and you can't physically get up, but like, you know, or a good night's sleep. Sometimes it's just I just need sleep. And I remember, I actually had class, and then I had like my 2 jobs after. I literally slept one whole day, and my body the next day was just good. You're like, okay, you're back. Like, let's go.
Oh, it's like, all
So
right.
sometimes you just need to sleep, you know, a whole day.
Just sleep 20 hours. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
What community college did you come from?
So I actually attended Malcolm X College first, back in 2014. I actually dropped out my first time that I attended college. And then I dropped out, came back to Chicago, and then I enrolled in community college. It was the Malcolm X College. I actually wanted to be a technician, because they made a lot of money, right? So a technician is like those people that work in the hospitals that kind of see like how the baby is and like how they're doing and things like that. I can't remember like the whole name of it, but I just remember as a medical technician. And then I started taking classes. I was like, what am I doing? Like, no, this is, you know, I don't like hospitals. That's not me.
You were like money.
Well, yeah, right, because that's the mentality. Like my mom, I grew up in a single parent household, so money was awfully tight. So my mom says like, make sure you get a good job and something that pays good, and that's it. Let's go. So I never thought about like what I wanted to do. It was more like what's gonna give me the most paid at the time. So then I just thought about business. Like I've always kind of did business. Community college, I did some business courses. So then I actually transferred over to Harold Washington because it's like their business school. And I loved Harold. I think the atmosphere was very supporting. I was DACA back then, so it was a very kind of hostile environment with DACA because of, you know, Trump. He's gone, so we gotta worry about that now. But yeah, I think it was just the steps. It was more like, okay, I really like business. And then I fell into HR. So I feel like that's how I kind of ended up in HR.
So you just like backed up into it? Like, did you take a class and you were like, oh, this shit is nice?
No, HR specifically, I think I have a love and hate relationship. In one of my jobs, I was actually an intern for them. And I had to do the hard nitty gritty HR of like having those hard conversations with people like, hey, your hygiene is not the best, right? At 15, 16 years old, telling, 40, 50-year-olds, hey, like you need a shower. It was a very hard conversation to have, but it was the other side of HR, right? Because HR is so big. That was just one department. So I hated HR for a while, and then I kind of went and floated around. And then now I kind of fell back into HR, but more within like the HR data and kind of understanding the development and programs and things like that of organizations. So that's where I'm at right now.
So you like the hiring of people, like that part of it? Like
I think so. Hiring is fun. Like I've tabled, right? I've commuted and met a lot of people. But I feel like I guess the most impactful work for me would be like how we use that data and who we're hiring and like how we're growing as a company versus like, hey, let me just get people staffed. Right. So I think more kind of like specifically like why we're hiring. Or like why can't we hire the people within, right? And I feel like that's always been like the the concern of like, hey, like I've been here for 5-6 years, why can't you just promote me instead of hiring someone from outside? So something like, comparing salaries, doing, just doing reports on why we're doing a good job and where we're going. I feel like I'm more interested in, like, organizations wise.
Yeah, that sounds like data analytics.
Yeah.
That's
So
what.
I was gonna take the data analytics course at Northeastern that we just have, our minor. So data analytics minor that just came out this semester. But I kind of already graduated, so couldn't take that.
Well,
So whoever can, they should take advantage of that.
you're getting a master's, no?
No, I just technically I graduated my undergrad, but I got into McNair, so I'm just finishing up my McNair research.
So you're doing research on behalf of the school right now?
No, it's with McNair. So McNair is a like a master's ready program. Like they help you to get into a master's or PhD program.
I've always seen McNair, but I've never actually asked what it was.
Oh, you should. I mean, I think you're supposed to be a junior or senior with 1 year left to graduate, because you have to take like classes with them. So you take like a graduate school, like different graduate school preparation like classes, to get you prepared for the actual graduate school.
So it's like a pre-grad school?
It's a pre-grad program. We wouldn't call it school because it's more like they're giving you lessons to be better prepared for graduate school.
That is so confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean
it's not a school, it's a program. Okay.
It's a program with Northeastern, and it's federally funded. So it's through I don't know if you're familiar with the TRIO program.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So we have TRIO at Northeastern as well, and TRIO and McNair go to kind of go hand in hand, and they pretty much just take people of underrepresented backgrounds who are interested in pursuing a master's or a PhD program in the future, and they kind of just like help you, give you the resources and things like that, and then in the end you have to do like some research, and that's where I'm at.
Okay, so you're almost done with it?
Yeah, I'm like halfway there. COVID kind of slowed me down a lot, so I'm just trying to keep up and make sure I turn that in.
Are you ready for the vaccines to come out and we can get back to normal?
For sure. I mean, being here cooped up is not the best.
I know. I mean, do you work from home nowadays?
So fortunately, I do work from home. Maybe it's been a year and a half that I've worked from home now. So I am there. That is a huge privilege. However, it's also a little crazy, right? Because people think you're available 24/7. So I really work 24 hours because it's back to back at home. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't have like a, what is it called?
That schedule?
Like a set schedule, because wherever stuff pops up, like I'm there.
Yeah. Well, I almost know the struggle only because I only go to work and home. And since I work with Corona, I don't really go out. Like I can't go out, because if I get somebody sick, I'd feel terrible. So the farthest I go is the laundry room. I don't know. What's the first thing you're gonna do once we get back to normal?
I've never really thought about it. Me and my husband actually have thought about like traveling. We've never really had like, what is that called? A honeymoon. So we've been married for 3 years now, I believe. 3 years, right? Yeah. I'm like, right. So 3 years. So we've never had a honeymoon. So maybe we were thinking about going to Mexico. And since I just, became a resident, we were thinking of just, going on vacation for once. I've always put off because I couldn't travel anywhere. Kind of put that off. But now, man, as soon as that, I'm going to be the first flight there. Like, hey.
Do you still have family over there?
I do.
So
I do.
Are you going to hang out with them though?
Probably not, to be honest. It's probably not. I'm more of like, hey, let's go here, let's go over there. And since they live there, I don't think they would. Like, like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, like I've been
So
there 8 times already.
yeah. And I'll probably go with them and just ditch them along the way or something, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, Puerto Rico is always wonderful. I recommend Puerto Rico to every single person.
Hmm. I know somebody said Jamaica. I'm like, maybe.
Well, Jamaica is known for certain things.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like the beach and like, the good stuff.
Um, yeah, obviously, there's more things to Jamaica than weed.
Right.
That's funny because my girl, she said she went to Mexico and hung out with her family, and for like the first day they went out and did stuff, and then she was there just at the house for like 6 straight days. Like they didn't want to go anywhere. So it's definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
Um,
They don't know what they got until they don't have it.
exactly right. Until an earthquake. Oh, God forbid, right?
Yeah.
Only because it's in like that tectonic plate thing, right?
Well, Mexico.
Yeah, that whole
Well, I
west
know
coast.
California is, so it's close. Yeah.
Yeah, California. I'm scared of California. Can you imagine just being in an earthquake?
I can't even imagine living there, how expensive it is.
Oh my
So
God, I know. They have like 13 or 18% tax rates.
that sounds right. Yeah.
Something like that, right? Here we
Yeah.
got 5, and I feel like, okay, that's fair. Or no,
Well, taxes wise, they said Chicago is the most affordable place to live in taxes wise. So I don't know.
because I think New York has like 11%. New York State has 11%. California has 13, and we have 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
So
Well, for
for
us.
that's not bad. I mean, it's not zero, but we also have like buses, and we have funded schools, and we have what is it? The Link card and WIC.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I don't know why people talk shit about my state like that. I know a couple of people that say like, "Oh, I'll never go back to Chicago." It's like we don't want you back.
We get that a lot. Yeah. But more for us, right?
Exactly. We don't need them taking our resources. One thing I want to do is have really big dinners once Rona's done. Like, go.
Really big dinners, like family dinners.
Well, that too. Like Thanksgiving this year was just like my girl and her parents.
Oh, yeah.
I, I live with my in-laws, and I love them to death. I really do. They could be too much sometimes. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know Thanksgiving for us was a lot different. We usually spend it at my in-laws house, and it's always a party there.
Right.
But this time, yeah, no. We kind of just took it as a normal day, so it wasn't like super festive as it usually is. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, there was also Christmas. We didn't do any. Well, we exchanged a couple of gifts, but you know who doesn't listen? Our grandparents. I don't know,
Where do you say that?
because my grandmother took my grandfather and my uncle and my aunt to Florida
Hmm.
for Thanksgiving, and I told her please don't go, and she just didn't listen. I'm so mad at her. I don't know. I just thought about that. That has nothing to do with anything, but I remembered that. I'm still mad about that to this day. In 2021, I'm still mad. I don't know. So then what's the plan for the new year for you?
Um, Helping more students land jobs. That's one of my biggest goals for sure.
Well, for yourself.
Oh, for me, okay. um, I guess the same thing. For sure. I'm also part of like a college support group, which actually we meet in like 6:15 ish. So right after that, I'm gonna hop in there. And it's probably the same, just making sure people are know the resources and know how they can access them. And then for me, be how to say it, like be involved and be like understanding, specifically right now in COVID. A lot of people need a lot of everything, right? From food resources to, you know, a home to, you know, maybe they're going back to school. So kind of being there for them as well to kind of navigate that. Because since as a first generation student myself, immigrant student at that, since I'm originally from Mexico, I know it's really hard to even find someone to kind of just tell your all and be like, okay, how can you help me, and kind of helping you get where you want to be. And then for me, I think, I guess just knowing what I can do in the future for myself. Like, I don't know, I'm still kind of right, as a career coordinator right now. I'm still kind of like, what do I want to do with my life, right? Do I want to stay in Chicago? Do I want to take a job somewhere else? Do I want to go ahead and start, you know, graduate school soon? So there's a lot of maybe like going back to doing like pros and cons and like what is good for me. That's definitely one of my biggest goals for myself, to kind of like, what is that called? Like count down, for sure.
You're gonna get a PhD?
I would love to, and I feel like at first I didn't think a PhD was for me. But then me and my husband kind of talked about it, and like we're in two different worlds. He's more of like so he actually graduated, he's an electrical engineer.
Oh wow.
So he's very like school, like no, like let me just get in and get out. I was more about school. For me, it's like a safe haven. So I feel like it's more of like I'm a long life learner, and I feel like me getting a PhD is something that I would eventually do, not right now, right? And because of the finances, you know, if it was free, like I'm gonna be like, okay, let's go get it.
Well, don't you get a discount working for the school?
You can, depending on you know where you work. And a lot of the schools, if you are getting a PhD, you could actually qualify to be funded 100%. However, the challenging part comes with, yes, you could get funded 100% if you know the right people. You can get it funded for a PhD. It's really hard to get masters funded 100%. It's not impossible. But yeah, there's more funding for PhD than for master's degree.
Well, we're friends with the dean. He can make some stuff happen, right?
That's true. So that was my next thing. So when you get to the point of writing a letter of why you want to get into the school and why do you want that program, that's what kind of gets a little harder, right? It's not just like, oh, I want to go to this school because it has, you know, a nice campus, right? That's not really the feel in graduate school. Like, what are you gonna do? You know,
Like with
are you gonna empower students? Are you gonna, like, what are you gonna do? What is your work gonna impact? So that's where you start thinking like, oh, like, okay, so what do I want to do with my career, and like, what do I want to use my undergrad degree, even if I'm not using it right now. How can I use those transferable skills to get to where I want to be, or like what change I want to make in the world? So those are the tough questions that if you want to get to grad school, you could start thinking about it now.
I don't even think no, I did write something to get into Northeastern.
Yeah, I mean, it's a personal statement. In graduate school, it's a little bit.
Right?
Yeah, it's in graduate school, it's a little bit different because a lot of the times they want to see that you've done your research. To be like, okay, if you go to this school, who do you want as a mentor, or who do you want to work with? One of the faculty. Yeah, it depends if you're doing research or you're not doing research. They a lot of the times they ask you, why do you want to take this course, or like, why are you interested in taking a course with this professor, right? And you have to kind of do the research before you even apply, because a lot of the times they won't accept you, right? Depending on the program. Some programs only accept 30 students per cycle or per cohort, you know, depending on the school as well.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
god. I never,
it could get competitive.
I never knew that it's like that selective. Only
Well,
because
that's what I'm saying. It depends on the school.
I know like UIC has like 30,000 students. Northeastern has like 5,000 or something.
Yeah, we're the small. Yeah, compared to UIC, yeah, we're small.
Well, yeah, UIC is enormous, but like I don't know. I always thought you just like show up, pay your money, and be like, all right, when do I start?
Maybe for undergrad, but for graduate school, it's more than just, oh, I want to keep going to school. It's kind of like counting down to the nitty gritty. Why are you in this program?
Yeah.
Because some people would legit be like, why are you here? Right. And I've had friends who started off in different fields and in graduate school or even in a PhD program, and they dropped out because they said, I don't even know why I'm doing this program. Like, I just did it because my mom told me to apply and to hurry up and graduate. So, it's also your own personal um, desire to do whatever you want in life, where it kind of gets like skewed, like, okay, wait, I really don't like um, like accounting or marketing. I actually really like graphic design. So why am I going to get a PhD in graphic design if I'm not going to be a teacher
Mhm.
or I'm not going to really need it, right? So it's a lot of questions in the world.
That's a lot of tough questions.
Hmm.
Not like give me one page, you know. I don't know. That sounds like effort. It sounds like a lot of effort. You know that?
Well, you know that we only have like less than maybe 1% of the Latinos that have a PhD.
Wait, who?
Like there's only like 3 or 4% of Latinos that have a master's degree. Imagine a PhD degree. There's not a lot of Latinos with a PhD degree.
Yeah. I've thought about that. I think that's why like I really got to go to school because then my little brother and sister can't be like, "Oh, well, I don't really want to." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Look, buddy. I did it. You got to do it too."
Um, I mean, we do have to come to the realization, right? As a college and career mentor, um, I think I've dealt enough with students that some students are not like they're not at the time to keep going to school, right? They need to rather grow up a little bit, or like for me, they need like money, like right now, to be able to do stuff. So sometimes, they shouldn't really go to school if they don't feel like they should until maybe they get a job and they said, oh my god, I really like working this. Okay, let me go back to school and let me or do both, right? Go to school and be in that job to be able to improve and move up. And it happened to me. I'm pretty sure it happened to a lot of people that when you're in a company and they tell you, oh, well, you don't have the certification or you don't have the level of education to be able to promote you,
Mhm.
right? And we see that in Northeastern. We see a lot of professionals coming back and finishing their degree because they can't, go up.
Yeah, who are like 20 credits away,
Mm-hmm.
like that MBA or bachelor's.
Exactly.
Well, if there's anything we learned, Handshake is pretty cool. I don't know about you, but I thoroughly do love Northeastern. Like everybody's been so great to me. Um, Shout out to our school. Our school's great. Shout out to the dean. He's a cool guy. I don't know if you
For
watch
sure.
you watch Community.
That I watch. No, what is that?
It's a show about a community college.
Oh no, is it on Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix. But
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
every time I like I'll see the dean, I think of the dean on the show, even though they are nothing alike. But check it out. You'll be like,
Okay.
this has
Is it just because he's the dean?
yes, it's literally just
Okay, I see the connection there.
and he just always has an entrance like ring ding dean or something, you know? And I don't know.
Okay.
That
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that you say that because I feel like a lot of the students, including myself, and I remember writing this on Get Set. For those who don't know Get Set, shameless plug, please get on there. It's our platform for students to connect and communicate with each other. But yeah, I think for me, even as a student and now like staff, we've never really valued the value of Northeastern, right? I feel like we've always like, oh well, I just ended up here because, you know, I didn't get accepted to Harvard or I didn't get accepted to DePaul, and now I'm just stuck here, right? So I feel like there's a lot of students that feel that type of way, but once they get here, they really love Northeastern.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I like Northeastern. I didn't have the grades to go anywhere else, but that's just because I didn't do a lot of homework. It's not because, you know.
That's fine. And you weren't interested in school then, right? And that's what a lot of the problems is as well. Like high school students, I still remember in high school, like I love school, but I couldn't go to college because of my status. Other people just didn't really put a lot of effort in school. And now, you know, I had students that failed, you know, in high school and they had to, you know, through retake classes and graduate, and now they're in college and 4.0. Like
Well, I'm not
it's a lot.
4.0, but I'm up there. I'm up.
I'm up there.
I'm
But
up.
yeah, I mean, it's all part of the process.
Yeah. And if anybody's thinking about going to Northeastern, definitely go. But yeah, I think you got somewhere to be in 15 minutes. Thank you again for taking the time out. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for putting on this podcast, and I hope to see more.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. I'll send it to you. Put it on GitSet.
Awesome. On gets it. We actually have a SAC, so Student Advisory Board. We do have a TikTok account now, thanks to Edwin. Shout out to Edwin. So we do have a couple cool initiatives coming up. So this will not be the last time.
Wish you the best of luck. Shout out your sorority.
AA, Gamma Phi Omega.
A.
AA.
I'm not that.
I'm like AA.
Oh, whoops, wrong side.
Well, you have it on, so.
Yeah, if you're looking for a frat or sorority, check ours out. Can't talk.
Or any of them. We're not being biased right now.
No, I'm very biased. I put my friends first.
All right, that's good to know.
All right. Thank you, and